Hey, Slightly Unblended, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm doing a cut crease for the holidays, so if you'd like to see how I got it, then just keep on watching. Hey y'all, so I wanted to do a festive cut crease for Christmas, so I'm taking the Little Miss She Never Misses palette and the shade Reed Mortuary with the Makeup Shack T14 brush, and I'm going to run this from that inner corner of my eye area in the crease, the deep crease, slightly above, run that all the way through the crease, and then I'm going to take it from the outer corner of my eye and start to kind of flick it up towards the tail of my brow. I really love the reds in this palette. I love the greens, but the reds in these, the reds in this are very nice. So I'm doing back and forth windshield wiping motions with the lightest amount of pressure just to get this shape built up. With the same brush, I'm taking the shade Pain just to start to go ahead and diffuse the shade, make it a little lighter, a little less harsh. That way we have a nice and even blend. So yet again, I'm doing back and forth windshield wiping motions, very light pressure. You only want it to feel like a tickle. I was watching the cats. The cats were trying to climb my blondes. Of course, like, see a squirrel, see a bird, they're gonna climb the blondes. And yeah, so I feel like this is a very beautiful red color combination right here. Very vibrant. With the Makeup Shack T63 brush, I'm just taking a white eyeshadow to get everything nice and softened up, diffused, making sure there is no harsh lines where I left off with the second shade, just to make sure everything is like blended out evenly. And during this process is where I tend to lose a little bit of pigment, so I will go back in and touch everything up here in a little bit. So I'm doing the same thing with this. This brush is a little bit thicker and a little more fluffy, so I'm just taking the white eyeshadow and going back and forth, doing windshield wiping motions with very light pressure, going side to side, just making sure that I'm getting everything nice and blended to how I want it and as far up as I want it. Now with the Makeup Shack T14 brush, I'm dipping back in more into the shade Pain a little bit more because, as I always say, blending is repetitive, but it's worth it. I feel like going in with your darkest shade, because you can do it either way. You can do your lightest, your darkest, whatever. I prefer starting with the darkest one. That's, to me, the depth shade, and I'll blend and then go back in and touch everything up once I get all the shades and the shape built up. Now I'm dipping back into Reed Mortuary to bring it back as well. Just kind of play around with it. Get your shades on, get your shape built up, look at it. See if it's as pigmented as you want, and then dip back into the shades that you feel like you need to bring them back, and then just do a little blenderoo and they'll come back. Soften your blend up and you'll have a nice pretty blend. And it will be a bit time consuming, but to me it's worth it. I just love to sit in my room and blend the day away. And now I'm dipping back into Pain just to kind of soften up that blend. Just go in and kind of, like I said, touch the shades up, look and see if you see any harshness, dip back into whichever shade you're blending that out with, and then begin to blend it out. That way it softens up. Sorry, my computer's lagging and it's got me stressed. And for good measure, I'm taking a little bit more white eyeshadow just to make sure everything is nice and softened up. And I'm taking the Makeup Shack T63 brush for this. This is one of my favorite ones to do like a white eyeshadow or a more like my skin tone shade to make sure everything is softened up with. And now I'm taking some micellar water on a Q-tip. That way I can clean out my crease and clean off my lid, so that when I go to take my primer to carve out my crease, none of the shades muddy up. I feel like this part is like the most redundant part every time I'm editing a video. It's like anytime I do a cut crease, I feel like, okay, I want to like show how I'm doing this, but at the same time, I feel like it takes longer than the blending to do this and carving it out, but I also want my videos to be helpful. So this one I feel like is taking forever. To carve out my crease, I'm using the Juvia's Place Eye Prep Eye Prime Eye Primer. It is what I primed my lid with before I started to blend, and I really like the formula of this one. I've been kind of going back and forth between like this, the Profusion one, and the Gerard Cosmetics one. That way I have options in case I run out. I'm like, okay, what's a good one that I can get if I have to order one and like wait for it to come in? Like, what's a good backup? I also need to try the Piolis one. I have it. I just haven't opened it yet because at this point I have 3 primers open. I'm like, Julie, use one up before you open something else. Now I'm taking the Dievurne Cosmetics Witch of the Wildflower and the Moth and the Moon palettes and the LO4 brush, and I'm taking the shade Virginia Creeper from the Witch of the Wildflower palette, and I'm going to wing that out. I love Dievurne Cosmetics. Their formula is so good, and I've been wanting to play around with their stuff more. I did play around with some for Halloween, but then Halloween was over, so between doing theme looks and like not having motivation to do looks, I just have been trying my very best to use my collection. So I was like, you know what, I will combine these 3 palettes and make a fun, pretty Christmas look. So I'm just winging this out and popping it on that outer V, making a wing shape. I'm going into this pretty light green shade from the Moth and the Moon palette, and I don't think this one is available anymore, so I'm sorry, but I just wanted to try to use some Dievurne and make sure that I had a nice pretty green blend. And I felt like this light green with the green from the Witch of the Wildflower palette, like, they just kind of made each other like pop, like very glowy, very pretty. So blending that out, making it winged out, and popping it on the lid most of the way. Now I'm taking Artemis from Kama Cosmetics. When I first noticed the shade, it was like not long after I took in my cat Artemis, and I was like, oh my goodness, what a sweet baby, and what a pretty eyeshadow. So I had to get it. It's so pretty. It's like I'm not exactly sure if it's a duochrome or a multichrome. I feel like it's more duochrome. The shifts are so gorgeous. It's such a pretty green, and I felt like it just went beautifully with this look. So I at first took my fingers to apply it, and then took the dough color number 14 brush to work that up through the crease, because I do not trust my fingers for that. Not at all. So I took this brush because it is thinner and started putting it right up there where you could see that base where I carved out the crease, and then just started kind of working that towards that inner corner area of my lid. And now I'm taking a little bit more of the greens just to get everything touched up, and then take a little bit more of that darker green to pat along the edges of the shade Artemis. That way everything is nice and blended together. I'm even working a little bit more of that pastel shade to kind of work it to blend it where it's closer to the crease, and then going in and touching that green up, because I kind of noticed that they weren't super even, and this was one of those days that like my other eye not matching up was gonna piss me off, because I was already kind of like not feeling good. I knew I wasn't going anywhere, but I was like, nope, they gotta be even. So now I'm taking the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner and Midnight Cowboy, and I'm gonna pop that all through the crease, and I'm gonna kind of dip into it quite a bit because I wanted it to be where you could see the glitter. I wanted it to be sparkly. I wanted to look like the Christmas present, okay? Because maybe to the cats I'm a Christmas present, but for myself, no. So anyway, taking that and just doing a little whoop, 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 doing my liner from the inner corner all the way out to where that crease ends and the red and green are starting to meet. From the inner corner all the way through the crease and flicking it out towards the tail of my brow. Alright, I'm going to go do the rest of my face and I'll be right back. so this is the finished look. What do you think? I am still not feeling well. Last week's video was filmed a few days before this. I'm still not feeling the greatest, but I really want to do some holiday looks because I have fun. I get to like have a theme and come up with different thoughts and things, and so yeah, I decided I was gonna go ahead and film even though I don't feel good. I really don't know how I feel about this look, but it feels very Christmassy. I like the shade Artemis. I bought it because it's my kitty's name, so it's so pretty. And Kama has such awesome stuff. Like, I feel like I use a lot of Terra Moons and I love them so much, and it's like, okay, but I also love Carlo Cosmetics and I also love Kama, and it's like, you know what, let me just play in some different kind of sparkles. I have some looks that I am behind on getting out. I'm sorry about that, I promise. Just since I got back from the beach, I feel like it's just been non-stop chaos, but I'm gonna be doing the Taylor Swift look sometime soon, and I have the brow tutorial in process. Like, I filmed it not long after it was asked for. Just the sitting and editing has me really stressed out. But yes, so I don't know exactly when this is going up. I know it's going up Sunday after this upcoming one, so doing this the week, this is going up the week after last week's, so we're closer to the holidays now. So happy holidays. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up with my awkward face and shenanigans while I'm not here on YouTube, then I have all my social medias linked in the description box down below. And if you'd like to keep up with me while I am here on YouTube, then please hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me and I can't thank you enough. And if you like this video, could you please give it a thumbs up, because I heard it helps push my video out in the algorithm. So if you give it a thumbs up, then thank you. Please let me know what you'd like to see next down in the comments below. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. Bye!